I just put out a bonus episode for season 2, all of the advice from the season 2 guest in one place. As I was compiling that episode, I noticed that a lot of people said similar things. And it really made me wonder all of the things that we think we need to do, but no guests on this show are ever saying. So in this episode, we're going to talk about advice you are not hearing. So things like platforms, waiting, competition, the depth of your product, the design of your product, and more. So let's dive in.
Hey everyone, welcome to Your First Digital Product, a show that helps maxed out service providers create their first digital product so they can gain an additional income stream, grow their impact without increasing one-on-one work, and experience more time freedom. On the show, I talk to business owners who have launched digital products and dig deep into how you can create, launch, and market your first digital product. I'm your host, Renee Morozowicz. Let's go.
Hey everybody, welcome to season 3. I am so excited that you are here with me today. I have so many great guests this season already recorded, and a couple episodes will be different, meaning that some guests won't talk about their first product or any of their products. However, they will be giving us advice on content and marketing and social media and things we can do to promote our products. So I'm really excited for that. I did just put out a bonus episode for season 2. The link will be in the show notes. It is all of the advice from the season 2 guest, just all in one place. This is stuff that we just need to hear over and over and over again. It's just stuff that takes a long time to really take hold in our mind. So the link will be in the show notes, but you can also go to yfdp.show/S2 bonus, season 2 bonus. Now, as I was compiling that episode, I noticed that a lot of people said similar things. And it really made me wonder all of the things that we think we need to do, but no guests on this show are ever saying. So nobody's actually saying that. So in this episode, we're going to talk about advice you are not hearing. So things like platforms, waiting, competition, the depth of your product, the design of your product, and more. So let's dive in. So the first piece of advice that you are not hearing is to use a specific platform to sell your product. Now, yes, maybe you get some recommendations and maybe you know some people who use one platform over another, but no one here on the show has said you absolutely must use this one specific platform. Nobody has actually even really talked about platforms on the show, except maybe to say use something that is easy for you and that is future-proof. So really, you don't have to use a specific platform. And my next solo episode is actually going to be all about sales platforms and how to pick the right one for you. So don't need to use something specific, just find the right one for you. Another thing that nobody has ever said on this show is to wait. Nobody says wait. You don't need to wait until you know more or when it's less busy. You're never going to be less busy and you already know enough. It reminds me of the scene in It's a Wonderful Life when George is talking to Potter and he says, wait for what? You don't need to wait. You can launch your product, create your product with the knowledge that you have right now. Also, no one is saying that you really need to hunker down for a really long time and go away and create the product and then come back. Now, yes, you need time to focus and you need time to sit down and actually create the product, but you should be talking to your audience during this process about what you're doing and really getting them ready for the product that's going to come out at the end. And don't let it take forever. It shouldn't take you a super, super, super long time to create your product. If you find that it is taking a really long time, there might be something in the way, some sort of block or some problem that if you resolve that, it will free you up to continue to create your product and launch and market it. Really quick, I am offering free 30-minute strategy calls now. We can brainstorm topics, we can figure out where you are stuck. The link will be in the show notes, but it's yfdp.show/strategy. Free calls, we'll just get on and we'll talk about your specific situation, what you're up to, and where you're stuck, and see if we can get you moving again. So, other advice that you are not hearing on this show is to look in depth at the competition. Nobody is saying to take a ton of time and do a ton of analysis on what other people are doing. If anything, people will say, again, to look at your audience. Talk to them, ask them what they need, see what they are asking you, and use that as the basis for your product. Nobody is saying go out and look at the other people who are doing the same thing as you. Don't do that. You might get caught up, all kind of stuck in your head, and that's not a good place to be. So nobody is saying that you really need to do a ton of competitor analysis. Another thing that you are not hearing is to make your product really in-depth and complicated and long. No one is saying this. And I know that we always want to offer more and more, but if you go too far in depth, you're going to lose your audience. It's still valuable, and even more so if it's clear and less complicated. So nobody is saying that your product needs to be really in-depth and long and complicated. Another thing that nobody ever really talks about is design, except to say, don't worry about it too much. We think that the products need to be polished and very specific and lovely. And yes, you should put some time and effort into design, but more so the advice you're hearing on this show is don't worry too much about it and move on to other important things. Really, the main thing is to make sure your product solves an important problem for your audience. All right. Other advice that you are not hearing is that you have to do it alone, that you should know everything about everything. You don't have to know all of the pieces. If you need help with writing or design or accountability or really whatever it is, look for help in that area. You don't have to do it alone, and you're not expected to know every single thing. Another piece of advice you are not hearing is it has to be perfect because it's final. It's not final. Everything changes. I know maybe we want it to be final, but everything changes over time. Some people who have come on the show have gone back and revised their products and changed them into different products. Some people have taken things away or streamlined their product to get their audience to their goal faster. So don't expect that it is going to be evergreen from now until the end of time, and it doesn't have to be perfect because it's not final. Also, this is not advice specifically, but other things that you are not hearing on this show include you failed if you don't have X sales in X amount of time. Nobody ever talks about a certain number of sales or a certain time frame on this show. You don't have to have any number of sales in any certain amount of time. Yes, maybe you want to, and yes, maybe it would be great to set a goal for that and then think about what you can do to reach that goal. However, part of creating a product is really the experience of doing it, especially the first time. We don't know what we're doing. We're used to being service providers. Providing a one-on-one service is way different than creating and selling product. So don't worry about this. There's really no such thing as failure. Yes, you may come short of any goals you set for yourself, possibly, but possibly not. But remember that you can continue to sell this product over time. And that's one thing I love about products. So don't worry if you don't do really well or as well as you want to right off the bat. Another thing that nobody is saying, and actually I make sure that nobody says this on the show, is that this is passive. This is all passive. You create it and you sell it on autopilot. Now, yes, it is decoupled from your time in that you can be at the grocery store and make a sale. However, you do have to continue to market it, but you can do that in your own time. You don't have to coordinate with someone and make sure you're both available to be able to market. But you do need to market if you want to see continued sales. And I think that's probably what you want because you took the time to create the product to begin with. So what are your thoughts? What do you think that you need to let go of to successfully create and launch your product? What is getting in the way? Send me a voice message at yfdp.show/share. I would love to hear from you. And please, 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 someone, anyone, please send me a message at this URL. Now, I'm not sure if people are not listening to the end of the episode, or if you're afraid, or maybe you have nothing to say, or honestly, maybe if it's broken. But I do want to hear from you and would love it if someone just sent me a message, even just one, through this form. So thanks so much, and I'll talk to you soon.
Hey, thanks for listening. I'd love to continue the conversation in your inbox. Email subscribe to hey@yfdp.show or sign up in the show notes to get bi-monthly emails about how you can create, launch, and market your first digital product. Can't wait to see you there.